Aloha, I'm Elena from Ohana Getaways, and in this short video, I am going to try and answer the question, Walt Disney World versus Disneyland. So stay tuned. Welcome everyone. Like I mentioned at the top of the video, we're going to talk about Disney World versus Disneyland, and I just want to let you know I'm a travel agent specializing in Disney destinations, so I am your go-to person for booking your next Disney trip. So let's get right into it. Spoiler alert, this is an impossible question. I get asked this a lot, actually. Would I prefer one or the other, because I've been to both, and it's really tough to say. I'm going to start by saying I think it comes to your home park and which one you are in closer proximity to. For myself, I live in southwestern PA, so I can get to Florida in like 2 hours. It's super easy for me. I can, hop a 5 a.m. flight and I will be in Magic Kingdom, having breakfast and be our guest, and it's like easy like a snap. Now, that being said, California residents, they hold more annual pass holders than Walt Disney World in Florida, and that is like their park. And when I say that, I just mean it's almost hard to explain, but it's like they care more about their park and they just take it to heart, and I love that. And the cast members are amazing there, and they're all local residents, whereas at Walt Disney World, you'll get some college program kids, and there's wonderful cast members in both parks, but I just feel the love in California, can I say? And obviously this is all subjective and all my own opinion and my own experiences, but I think that if I was a West Coast resident, I would of course have my heart in Disneyland. So proximity aside, they're just two totally different experiences. And I'm going to go into just kind of a gloss over on what some of the biggest differences are. I do have a blog post that came out that goes more into detail about Disney World versus Disneyland, and I will link that below here, but I'm just going to go over a couple of those here. And first, obviously, Walt Disney World is massive. It is, you could fit, I think it's 51 Disneylands inside of Walt Disney World. I mean, that's huge. It is the size of San Francisco, double the size of Manhattan. So it's its own city. It's like you're going to visit, Boston or something else, or San Francisco. I guess that was kind of dumb. But, it's huge. It requires more planning because there are 4 theme parks there instead of 2 like at Disneyland. There's also a dining plan, so you're making all these dining reservations ahead. You're making fast passes ahead, and it's a planner's dream. If you are the type, holla for my Excel spreadsheet lovers who love a good plan. Walt Disney World is your park, because you can plan things from sunup to way past sundown, and you can, check it all off your list there. Disneyland is just more chill. Like, you don't need to make those reservations so far ahead. They're like, yeah, make them a little closer till, come in for some dining, make those fast passes a little closer till your trip. It's just more relaxed there. And that is something that I absolutely love about Disneyland. Walt Disney World, I'm like, okay, let's get this show on the road. We have things to plan here 6 months out. So I love that like chill vibe there. When it comes to where to stay, Walt Disney World, because it's so huge, they have over 25 plus resorts to stay at. So you have amazing resorts, super themed, attractions in themselves resorts, but you have a lot of choices. So what I do with my clients is I talk about, what kind of places do you like to stay when it's not Disney property? Are you like a Hilton person? Are you a Four Seasons person? And then we narrow down that choice. When it comes to Disneyland, there are 3 on-property resorts. So right there, you have a lot less to choose from. and they do work a lot with the Good Neighbor hotels there. So you could potentially have more of a choice, but if you are strictly an on-property person like I am, I want to stay like inside that Disney bubble all the time, you don't have as much to choose from, which can almost be a good thing because it's not going to take you as long to choose. So that's for the resorts. When it comes to such a large property like Walt Disney World, you need to be able to get around, and they offer a lot of transportation. So that can be fun. The Disney buses, you know, you got to get where you're going. The monorail, that's going to 2 different parks. I know Disneyland has a monorail as well. Minivans, that's unique to Walt Disney World. You can call, like you're going to use a Lyft, and I almost said Uber, but it's definitely Lyft. You can go ahead and call ahead for a ride, and my favorite form of transportation is the friendship boats. I love taking a boat. I love taking a ferry. I think it's just the funnest thing ever, and that is something that is unique to Walt Disney World. Disneyland, it's walkable, and like for me, when I went there, I was like, what? Like, I stayed at the Disneyland Hotel, and I like walked through downtown Disney, and there I was in front of the parks, and to my left was Disneyland Park, and to my right was Disney California Adventure, and I was like, say what? Like, I can like just, you have to have a park hopper because you can just hop back and forth there. I thought that was amazing, and if I wanted to take a break in my hotel, I just walked back to my hotel. I didn't have to wait for a bus. I didn't have to wait for the next monorail. I would have taken a boat. I do enjoy the boats, like I said, but you don't have to. So I think that that is an incredible feature. I also think it's a really great feature for families that have little ones, because if you want to take that midday break, pop them in the stroller, you know, walk on back to your room, and you're there. Disney World, it's more of an ordeal. You're going all the way to the front of the parks. You're, you know, doing this whole like waiting for the bus thing, like I mentioned. So that's transportation. When it comes to dining, which is like one of my favorite subjects, this is of course subjective. Disney World, you have more choices, more character dining, more signature dining. You can dine at the resorts, you know, you just have a lot of choices, and I love myself some Disney World restaurants. Disneyland, I found the food to be incredible there. I don't know why. I thought it was just a little bit elevated for Disney food. I think Disney food in general is elevated above theme park food, but like, what's with these quotes? Like, that's the last time I'm doing that. But I do think that Disneyland, I think their snack game is on point. They are like so famous for those churros out there. They're throwing everything on a churro, and I've had some. They were delicious. I see them all the time on like Disney Parks blog or Disney food blog, and they look incredible. The Corndog in Disneyland, who would have thought a corn dog could be like gourmet? And that's what it tastes like to me. I've tried to make them at home. They're not even close. So I feel like Disneyland just, they have it when it comes to food. The quality just seems better. So I'm going to kind of give it to them with the caveat that I like the sit-down restaurants of Walt Disney World. So that's dining. When it comes to tickets, you can get, you know, single-day tickets, multi-day tickets, annual passes, park hoppers, all that good stuff at both parks. You can even get an annual pass that will get you into both resorts, and I think that's pretty amazing. If you go often enough, probably totally worth it. I know if you go often enough to Disney World, their annual pass is worth it for sure. So the ticket thing doesn't, you know, change much, but the technology does. So Disney World has the magic bands, and that's your everything. I have a whole video on fast passes and tickets and all the things you need to know about Disney World. I can link that below, or you can just check out my channel if you want to know more about magic bands. But it's nice to have a magic band. And it was something that I missed in Disneyland. I'm very used to just scanning it on my wrist and like walking into my room or paying for my meal, and it just being very convenient. Disneyland still has the key to the magic card, so you know, you have more of like a physical ticket per se, and then you're scanning that or scanning your phone for fast passes. And fast passes makes me think of max pass versus fast pass. So max pass, you are getting fast passes with max pass, and you are not adding that until you physically walk into a park. You have to actually scan your ticket, walk into the park, go on your phone and get max pass and start acquiring fast passes. I felt like that was a great way to do it. I didn't have to pre-plan my fast passes at all. I also felt like I got more fast passes when I did that system. Fast pass in Walt Disney World, you're planning 3 ahead at least per day. And then when you're there, you can start to acquire more fast passes, but you have that sort of built-in itinerary ahead of time, where at Disneyland, you can kind of like fly by the seat of your pants. So that's fast pass. This one, I didn't know how to feel about it. If I had gone to Disneyland for the first time as my first Disney experience, I would be in love with Sleeping Beauty Castle. It's gorgeous. I love that you can walk through it and see like the story of Sleeping Beauty. But my first Disney experience is at Walt Disney World in Cinderella's castle, which is awe-inspiring. It's huge. No, you can't like walk through and see Cinderella's story, but you can eat at Cinderella's royal table. It's magnificent. When the happily ever fireworks go off over Cinderella Castle, it's like gorgeous, you know. Sleeping Beauty Castle, I walked in, and totally my opinion, and I hope I don't get a lot of hate for this, but I was kind of like, oh, it's cute. Like, that was cute, but I think it's just literally scale. You know, it's just smaller scale. Now, that being said, at Disneyland, I felt like, I don't know, I felt nostalgic and thought, wow, like this, I'm walking in Walt's footsteps. He was here. He actually physically touched this park. This is amazing, you know, and the rides at Disneyland, I'm not going to go through all the differences because there's tons of differences in rides, and some parks have this ride, some have that. But some of the rides, like Pirates of the Caribbean, I thought were just amazing at Disneyland. I just thought, wow, like this is Pirates. And like Walt Disney World's Pirates, I was like, huh, I should really like do this one here. Guardians of the Galaxy versus Tower of Terror. That one I'm not going to debate because I know people love the classic, you know, Tower of Terror. I just thought, since I'm lucky enough to go to both parks, I thought it's really fun that I could ride that type of ride and it'd be Guardians of the Galaxy. So I thought, for me, that was really cool. I loved It's a Small World. I hope that song doesn't come in my head. But I loved it at Disneyland. And I liked that the characters were involved just a little bit. And like being able to look through and like pick out, you know, like, oh, you know, Toy Story, like that's there. And like Lilo in Hawaii, like I love that. So I just thought like the rides were really special in Disneyland. Well, Disney World just happens to have more rides because they have 4 theme parks. So, you know, you can't really like debate that either. At least I can't, you know, spoiler alert, I cannot decide which park is better. And I truly think if you are a Walt Disney World lover, you have to make a trip to Disneyland at least once. And I bet if you go once, you'll go again. It's just, they're both phenomenal parks, and I really think there's something for everybody. I think if you have a short window for a trip, like you can only get away for 4 days, I say go to Disneyland because you can knock out those parks in like 3 days. If you have a full week's vacation, Walt Disney World would be my choice because you have 4 parks and there's just more things to do. There's even things in Walt Disney World like 2 mini golf courses, 2 water parks. I mean, that's a lot in itself. There's regular golf courses as well. You can take a boat around Seven Seas Lagoon and watch the fireworks. There's just more going on there. So it just would take more vacation time, which I'm fine with some extra vacation time. That's cool. But if you just have a short window, I would say Disneyland. That, I believe, will do it on my sort of like gloss over on Disneyland versus Disney World. I hope that, you know, you find this a little bit helpful. I'd love to hear what you think. Go ahead and comment below. I would really appreciate to, you know other people's opinions and have just a conversation about this as just another Disney fan. So I'm going to wrap it up and say thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to this video if you like this sort of content. You can find me over on Facebook and Instagram, and I will link those here as well. And just thank you for watching. Bye-bye.